Hey everyone, I'm Leanne. If you don't know me, and if you do know me and you're back, thank you so much. I'm glad to have you guys back. Today we are doing a wish list video, or like a fantasy shop with me. I've never done a video like this, but I've seen a few channels around doing videos like this. I'm inspired. It looked like a lot of fun. The first channel I saw do it, I think, was Emily Noel, but now I've seen a bunch of them and it just looked like too much fun not to do it. And basically the premise is you've got like $1,000 to blow at Sephora and you can buy whatever you want. Money is no object. Get the stuff that you really want, stuff that maybe you've been curious about for a long time, but you couldn't justify it with the price point, or maybe it's just something that you really want, but it's just too expensive. There's a lot of things like that for me. If you watched my video a couple weeks ago, I did my very first anti-haul and you might have noticed a trend. Many things, I was just like, that's too expensive, that's ridiculous. And I tend to be like that in many situations. I've mentioned it here and there, but it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. I can always talk myself out of things. Like I've thought in the past, I would be a very good shopping buddy for someone that buys too many things that they don't need and then they regret it. And I could come along with them and like talk them out of things, because I can reason myself out of anything. Like, you do not need to spend it. And in a way, it's good because I'm able to save more money, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that I just like deny myself because I feel like they're frivolous and they cost too much money. And really, there is just a lot of stuff like that on Sephora in general, so it's not hard to find things that you really genuinely don't need. But really, I was just so attracted to this video idea because it's so out of the normal for me. Like, it's just something I would never do. Yes, I definitely splurge on things, but spending $1,000 at Sephora, or I did a little twist. My shopping cart went up to $2,000. There are reasons why, I will explain, but it seems like most people are doing $1,000. I would not spend $1,000 at Sephora. I mean, over time, it's definitely happened, but all at once, I've never spent that amount of money, not even close to that amount of money at Sephora. So this was fun. I already built up my cart. The total amount at this time is $1,984.24. So I went up to about $2,000 because there were a couple of big ticket items that almost blew the $1,000 budget right away that I knew I wanted. And so I didn't want to have a video with only like 3 or 4 things, so I upped it to 2,000. I'm not actually spending the money, so what does it matter? Anyway, I only have 12 things in my cart, and there's actually one like honorable mention, and the only reason why it's not in my cart is because it's sold out right now, but I would totally buy it in here, and it's something in the past that I had that I sent back. I will explain. Actually, I'm just gonna talk about it right now because I feel like I'm gonna forget if I wait till the end of the cart. It's the Amika High Tide Deep Wave Hair Crimper. It's $120, and I don't know if you saw this video. I think it was last year at some point. I bought this hair waver and an almost identical hair waver off of Amazon for $30, and I did like a head-to-head competition to basically see if you pay $120 for a hair waver, is it gonna perform way better than a $30 waver that was super popular on Amazon. I ended up really loving this waver, and it actually did perform better in my opinion, especially because the Amazon one crapped out after 1 use. Obviously, didn't make me very happy. I think I just got a dud, but whatever. I really loved this waver, but like I said, I can guilt myself out of anything, and I sent it back after using it for a few times, even though I really loved it, just because I felt like $120 was way too much to spend on a waver, even though I really liked what it did to my hair. I just guilted myself out of it. And since then, I've had this thing in my cart and taken it out several times since that video over the past, I don't know how many months. And I still haven't bought it, but if money was no object and I was just not caring about anything, I would definitely get this waver again. And I would absolutely recommend it. But at the same time, I still can't justify it. I know I'm not supposed to be doing that in this video. Okay, let's move on. Like I said, I actually do have 12 things in the cart. So let's get started. First off, for a foundation, it's $88. It's the Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. And honestly, I haven't heard anybody talk about this foundation. Maybe it's a hot new thing and I just haven't heard about it, but I've never tried a Tom Ford foundation that I can remember. Unless it was like a sample size, I've definitely never bought a Tom Ford foundation. I'm just not that fancy, but it's a soft matte foundation. That sounds like me. It's new. I like the packaging. It says it's a soft focus matte foundation with a hydrating silky formula and medium to full coverage that lasts all day. It's liquid. It's supposed to work for every single skin type. Of course it does. But basically it just sounds like the type of foundation I'm always attracted to, but it's definitely not the price point that I'm attracted to. I always like to find the best product for the lowest price so I can pass that information along to you guys and also not feel guilty when I fall in love with it and repurchase it. Because really, if you think about it, it's a foundation. It's gonna expire. You're gonna use it up, especially if you really love it, and it's $88. So once you fall in love with this is not like a one-time fee of $88. You are gonna be spending this over and over and over again because it's a foundation and you're gonna use it a lot, especially if you love it, especially if it is $88 worth, you know, if it's actually worth the money, you know what I mean? So do you see how I'm good at talking myself out of it? This is supposed to be like a fantasy wonderful, like, wish list situation, and I'm like, here's why I wouldn't buy it. This is actually not a good video for me at all. Do you see what is wrong with me? It's a lot of things, but $88 for this foundation, wow. I would definitely get it though. Okay, next on my list, it's $130. It's a fragrance by Maison Margiela, and it's a full-size replica beach walk fragrance. If you've been with my channel for a while, a few years at least, you guys know I love this fragrance, but I've only ever bought the candle and a couple of the rollerball sizes, which are obviously much, much more affordable. The candles are expensive, and that was a tough splurge for me, but I've always just kind of gotten by with the rollerballs. I don't wear fragrance absolutely every day, especially in the last year or so. I love this fragrance so much. And for $130, I would absolutely splurge on it, and I would absolutely recommend it to anybody. It's such a unique, delicious fragrance. To me, this might not sell it for any of you guys because maybe this is a very weird association, but to me, it smells like a toy that I had when I was a kid. And I can't even tell you what toy. It has just like this like scented toy smell, almost a little sunscreeny, a little bit sweet, maybe slightly floral. I can't explain what this smells like. It smells amazing to me and I absolutely love it year round. It's amazing. I really, really want this. Someday I will buy it, but for now it's just in the fantasy cart. Okay, next up, something a little bit more reasonable. It's $70 for a Sephora collection ready to roll brush set. You get 10 brushes, and really right now I just have such a mess going on in here with my brushes. I need to wash everything. I need to weed out my brushes and declutter because I've had a lot of them for a very, very long time. It's just time to start over. And honestly, I've had pretty good luck with Sephora collection brushes, and I feel like this is actually kind of a good deal. It says it's at $195 value, and I was actually kind of shocked. I was looking at the brush selection and they don't really have very many brushes to choose from on Sephora, at least on the app. I really would rather get maybe IT Cosmetics brushes. I feel like those are so good, but I didn't realize IT Cosmetics brushes were not available at Sephora. Shows how often I buy brushes, but I know they're available at Ulta. Anyway, that's a total side story. Okay, next up, going back to that anti-haul video, I talked about how I have never allowed myself to buy anything by Pat McGrath. I have been tempted a million billion times, as I'm sure most of you have been, because of Instagram, because of other influencers, because her stuff is just so beautiful. This brand, just everything they do is gorgeous, and the eyeshadow palettes are always beautiful, and I just felt like I had to put the same palette from my anti-haul into this video because basically I was just like, this is too ridiculous. I didn't even say. It's $125. I think most of their palettes are $125. Really, the colors in general would be pretty wearable. The hot pink, not so much, and definitely not the shade that calls to me the most, which makes no sense. It's this rainbow shade. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's maybe even breathtaking. I don't know if this is photography trickery or editing, or I don't even know. I've never seen an eyeshadow that looks like this. I have no idea what it would look like on the eye, but I am fascinated, and I'm pretty sure I made a big deal about it in the anti-haul and let you know that I was very intrigued by it, but also acknowledge the fact that I probably would never wear it. Therefore, $125 doesn't really make sense. But if money is no object, I could just have it and look at it and stroke it, and you know, it could just be there for me when I need it. I don't need it. Okay, next up, I went into the skincare tool section and I found the Dermaflash Dermapore Ultrasonic Pore Extractor and Serum Infuser for $99. I've seen this one around, I think on Instagram, maybe on YouTube too, and it is the strangest tool. And would I ever buy it in a real life situation? No, 99% no. But I will tell you that every time I see it in action, it like buzzes across your skin and it looks like it's extracting everything that's in your pores. I don't know if it really is. It kind of looks like it is though. It speaks to me, it calls to me. The lover of pimple popper videos inside of me like really, really wants to buy it. But at the same time, it just seems too good to be true and I have to trust that gut feeling. So I haven't bought it. I don't think I'd buy it. Ooh, it comes in pink. I didn't even know that. But I'm very intrigued by it. And if money was no object, I would absolutely, in a heartbeat, bring it home and try it out. Like just thinking about it, I get excited. Is that ridiculous? Okay, next up, a little bit more practical, even though it is a very high price point. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer for $52. This is a product that I've had in the past and I really like. I love Hourglass. I've told you guys this before. I'm not usually just like entranced by brands just in themselves. Like, oh, I just love this brand, everything they do, I'm interested in. But for some reason, I feel like that about Hourglass. I don't have everything Hourglass has ever made. They do have pricier products, and so that's a struggle for me. But this bronzer is good. I haven't had it in a long time, and I would definitely repurchase it. Did I say it was $52? It's $52. Okay, next up we have an eyeshadow palette, and this one is a big one. It's the Viseart Grand Pro Volume 1 eyeshadow palette. It's $150. You get 30 shades, and it's not every color in the rainbow, but at the same time, I don't need every color in the rainbow. And I've had such a good experience with Viseart eyeshadow. I have a palette that I bought years ago. It's just the matte neutrals. I've shown it a million times. I wore it on my wedding day. I use it almost every day, even still. And I have another one that it's like the warm tone mattes. They're just such good eyeshadows. They're so easy to work with. They're so perfect for every day. I feel like you could give one to somebody that maybe isn't like super, super into makeup and they could make it work and they could love it and they could use it for literally years because you don't go through eyeshadow that quickly. And yes, it is at a higher price point. I believe those smaller palettes are like $80. This one's a big one and it's $150, but I've almost bought this one before and I can't promise that I never will, but haven't yet because it seems pretty crazy. And there are definitely a few shades in here like the hot pink, the hot magenta, the blue. I don't really see myself using, but other than that, it looks good. I would definitely go for this one. Okay, for a skincare item, I added the $180 La Mer Creme de la Mer moisturizer. This is like a cult favorite skincare product. It's been around forever. People swear by it. I think like the rumor a long time ago was like J-Lo uses it on her whole body. It's super crazy expensive, but people also say it works wonders. And I've actually gifted this to my mom before, but at the same time, it's not really something that I would buy for myself just because it's so expensive. But you know, like you want to like treat your mom, you know, but I've always been curious. And if money was no object, I would definitely buy some for myself and see what the fuss is about. Okay, next up, this one's not, well, it is kind of crazy. It's $38. It's the Guerlain Kiss Kiss Rose Lip Tinted Lip Balm. I love the packaging. I would be lying if that wasn't part of the reason why I'm very, very attracted to it. I don't know why. This packaging just looks so fancy to me and I know that I would enjoy it so much, like pulling it out of my purse and like putting it on every day or freshening up. I would just love it so much. I don't know why that does something for me, but it just does. And this really just looks like a very sheerly tinted lip balm, but that's the kind of thing that I like on the day-to-day. And I think that I'd go for the Morning Rose color. It's just a sheer soft pink. It just looks pretty. It just looks luxurious. Did I say it's $38? Can't even remember. I'm getting all caught up in this cart. Next, for $325, another very ridiculous skincare tool. I went right to that section when I was shopping for this because I knew this is the place where you blow money if you've got it to blow. It's the NuFace Trinity Facial Toning Device. Honestly, I can't even tell you how this works. It says it's an advanced microcurrent facial toning device that improves the look of skin's contour, tone. It works on fine lines, wrinkles, loss of firmness, elasticity, and puffiness. And apparently it's an FDA cleared device that gently stimulates the larger surface areas of your face and neck with microcurrents that improve the look of the face's contour, tone, fine lines, and wrinkles. Again, to me, that sounds too good to be true, but if money were no object, I would want to see for myself, because if it did work, that would be amazing, right? Really, if you scroll through the pictures and look at the before and afters, they're pretty amazing. And I mean, as you get older, if you could help the neck a little bit, I could probably stand to help the neck a little bit at this point. Don't mind me. I don't know. Basically, all I'm saying is I would like to give it a chance on my face. That sounds really weird. Let's move on. Oh my gosh, we're like blowing through this. Okay, this is another item that I talked about in my anti-haul, except I'm pretty sure I said that I did want it, because I do want it. I still want it, and I'm most likely gonna buy this maybe right after I record this video. It's the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin High Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. It's $27. It's a 24-hour waterproof concealer with a transfer-proof natural matte finish and breathable full coverage to conceal, correct, and contour. Really, I just want to try it. It's not like crazy pricey. It's not cheap, but I like Makeup Forever. I trust their products, and I really would like to try that. Next up, for $549, I'm totally going back on what I've said in the past. It's the Dyson Airwrap Styler, and it's the complete styler that comes with all of the accessories and attachments. I actually bought this when it first came out to try it out on my channel, and I did like the results. I just couldn't justify the price yet again. I really liked what it did for my hair. I liked that there was some really cool science behind it, and that it seemed like it would be healthier for my hair in the long run, but I just couldn't justify spending $500. And when I did that video, I only bought the, I guess, volume set, but if money were no object, I would go ahead and spend the extra $50 and get everything. And I do have to tell you the truth. This is another one I've had in my cart multiple times and taken it back out during Sephora sales, VIB sales, and I just can't pull the trigger. But I just feel like, hey, if it's healthier for your hair, maybe it would be worth it in the long run. But in this situation, I would absolutely have it in my cart. And this is one of those items that I was like, I have to put this in my cart for this video, but it's gonna completely blow the budget. So that explains the $2,000 limit that I had to do. Of course, I had to spend an extra $1,000. All right, that's actually everything I had in my cart. That $2,000 went really quick. Being someone who doesn't really love to spend a lot of money at once, I really impressed myself. So I hope you guys had fun with me on this video. This is definitely in no way trying to like promote spending tons and tons of money on makeup. I don't stand for that. You guys know I love value products, products that you can go back and repurchase again and again and again, and they're not gonna break the bank and you're not gonna feel guilty spending the money on it like an $88 foundation. But this was just for fun, just to look at the kind of like high price items that they have on Sephora, because it's a lot. I also want to say thank you for your response on the anti-haul video. That one was surprisingly fun to make. I don't know, you don't get too many chances to go through Sephora and just be like, that's not worth it, that's not worth it, that's overhyped, I don't get that product, this is gimmicky, and just kind of like roast everything. But it was really fun. Usually I'm talking about all the things I really love, things that I want, things that I'm recommending to you guys, but sometimes it's just fun to talk about stuff that is not worth it. And I'm really glad you guys appreciated that. I will definitely do it again because so many of you guys requested that. Let me know, did you guys like this video? Maybe this is just a one-time thing, I don't know. But I appreciate you guys being here. Definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thank you so much if you are. You guys are my people. You can also find me on social media. It's LeighAnnSays everywhere. And I love talking to you guys over there. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It helps my channel and I appreciate knowing what you guys think. And as always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone. No, I just dripped water on my shirt. Oh, I don't think it shows. Put my hair in front of it. I don't think you can see it. Whatever. It's so hot. I need help. Oh my gosh. Wow.